Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another week of Flix Friyay! And this week we are going to be talking about a film that is on Hulu right now called Sex Drive. Now, before we get into it, go ahead, do me a favor, smack that like button, hit subscribe, ding the notification bell so you know when my videos are uploaded. And without further ado, let's hop into the review. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to kick this review off with some of the pros. Now, the first pro is the comedy. It landed pretty consistently for me, I think. There was maybe one or two jokes in the whole thing that didn't really land. It didn't make me laugh. And there was one in particular where I was kind of lost and like, I'm not sure what they're implying here, to be honest. Like, it just didn't land. Probably the idea was good, but the execution just wasn't there for those couples. So, but for the most part, the comedy landed, and like I said, it is that raunchy humor, very much in the vein of movies like American Pie, Porky's, Animal House, stuff like that, and classic early 2000s type of raunchy comedy. So, not so much like the mainline American Pie movies, but more like the spin-offs. Think of Bandcamp or Beta House, stuff like that. Now, the other pro is the soundtrack. The soundtrack is really great, like it usually is in these types of movies, to be honest. The soundtrack's usually a highlight in these raunchy comedies. And the other pro is the cast, actually. Now, this cast actually has a lot of major names in it. And I have them written down because, if you watch my videos, you know me. I'm terrible with remembering actors' names. Let's get right into it. There's Michael Kudlitz from The Walking Dead. The redhead guy that, well, never mind. I almost let a spoiler drop, but I won't do that because I know a lot of people dropped off around this time. So, around the time of the spoiler. So, I'm not going to spoil it. But, he's a pretty major character, like maybe like a B character, maybe not a I wouldn't say, but maybe a B character. There is Seth Green, who was in Austin Powers, actually, as I believe it's been so long since I've seen Austin Powers. I think he was the son or maybe the nephew of the guy that goes $1 million, that guy. So he's a good actor, and he's in this. He plays an Amish guy, and he's pretty funny. He's very sarcastic, and a lot of his jokes, you don't know if the character's being funny or if he's serious and just kind of an asshole. But, he's funny either way. It definitely sticks. Another one is James Marsden. He's actually from The Notebook. And then Clark Duke, which is the kind of nerdy kid with the glasses from Hot Tub Time Machine. If you guys remember that movie, there was Hot Tub Time Machine, and then it actually got a sequel, which wasn't as good. I think most people would agree, but they're funny movies in their own right. And then lastly is Mark L. Young, and that's kind of an honorable mention. He played a long hair character in The In-Betweeners. Little dull and a little slow. He was good in The In-Betweeners, and he's great in this movie as well. He's definitely a minor character, but he does his role really well, and he's really funny. I'd like to see him in more stuff, actually. They canceled The In-Betweeners because I know it was based on the UK show. Everyone online says the UK version was better anyways than the US version, but I never got into the UK version as much, so I kind of miss that they canceled the US version. The US version I thought was still really funny. Yeah, it was like a 1-to-1, but it was funny, and the actors on that show were really good, and Mark L. Young was one of them, so I'm glad to see him in this. Now let's touch base with some of the cons for me. Now, one of the cons is the production quality of the movie. Keep in mind, this is a raunchy comedy from 2008, so it's not gonna be like the budget of Avatar or Terminator or pretty much any movie that's gonna be in theaters. It feels more like the budget of those American Pie spin-offs like Beta House and like Bandcamp and Actually, not Book of Love. Book of Love was really low production value, if you ask me. But so I'm not gonna say it's like that level, but I'd say like Beta House or Bandcamp. Another con is that it does seem a little derivative. You know, it's a 2008 raunchy comedy, and if you've seen one of them, you've seen pretty much all of them. American Pie. I think there's like 7 of American Pie movies if you include the spin-offs, maybe 8 by now. But I mean, they're all kind of hit on the same jokes. You know, they do it in different ways, but they all kind of touch base with the same comedic points. And so you've seen one, you've seen them all, but they're great movies to just turn your brain off and sit back, have some popcorn, a soda, and just relax and enjoy a movie. So I put that in the con section, but to be honest, if you're watching this movie, you're probably not expecting anything mind-blowing or like genre bending or defying. The last con I have is just snowflakes beware, because this is a comedy from 2008 and a raunchy one at that, which means if you're somebody that's easy to get offended, then don't watch this movie, because it is offensive. All these raunchy comedies from the early 2000s, if you rewatch them, they're not politically correct by any means that, you know, our standards for political correctness are today, are way up here. They didn't give a fuck about any of that. So this movie's no different. If you're easily offended, if you're a snowflake, then don't watch this movie. But if you can take a joke and you just want to laugh and you know it's comedy, then have a good time, enjoy it. It's on Hulu. I highly recommend it. With that being said, I'm going to give Sex Drive a 7 out of 10. And on my scale, that is a local bargain masseuse parlor with a happy ending, of course. And that's pretty good. I mean, for a raunchy comedy, I'd say a 7, maybe an 8 is about as high as I'm going to go for any of them. So this is pretty good, especially for one that I had never heard of, had no idea that it even existed. And it managed to actually impress me. I kind of went in thinking it might have a few jokes, but it's going to be pretty stupid. It was pretty stupid, but it had more than a few funny jokes. And if that's what you're looking for, just to turn off your brain and have a good laugh, this is a movie for you. So go ahead, before you leave, before you go watch that movie, smack that like button, hit subscribe, really helps me out. Ding the notification bell if you want to be notified exactly when I upload my videos. And I'll see you guys next time on Flix Friyay.